Monday morning, Monday afternoon, Monday night. Um, all depends on how you look at it. But I'm coming to you again. Um, just seeing how y'all doing and what's up. See how y'all feeling. What's up? See what you into. Gonna do here live. Coming on early. Um, if you are celebrating, hope that you're enjoying your weekend and with your family, friends, etc. If you are, if you're not, I understand. It's cool. It's all good. No one's gonna trip. Anyway, I'm jumping right into my poll question. I'm talking about the NBA playoffs right now. Um, Jumping right into it real quick. You know, Thought I'd talk about it. That's gonna be one of my main focus of conversation today. We could talk about other things. Um, Obviously, I'm aware of the Pope situation, so if you want to talk about that, but I want to talk about this NBA thing because those games look whack. They look really bad already. They look pretty weak. I mean, I've been watching them, and they not doing nothing for me. What's happening? How you doing? If you're coming on here this afternoon, please hit the poll question. Please hit the likes. And if you want to sign up, feel free. Welcoming people to come on. I'm putting out my tags for people who are just now getting notification that I am on gonna be on live. I'm planning on being on here for about at least a good, probably an hour. See how everything goes. So just having conversation, seeing what's up. Hope everybody's having a good day. And we are coming to you live today. We're going to see what we're working with. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? See, you got people back on. So, look, I'm gonna be on for like an hour. What's happening? How you doing? What's up? How you doing? Where you coming from today? Thank you for coming through. Please hit those likes up because I need those likes to be hit up and hit this poll up, hit this poll questions up, and we can get this show rolling. Welcoming everybody that's aboard. Oh, so far 50%. Okay, so 50% y'all think this is good. Me too. I'm what part? I don't know what you're trying to talk about, but that's not how you address me. You either say hello or you don't say nothing at all. But everybody coming through. What part of the UK you from? Please hit that like up and everything. I'm glad to have people coming through today. So, mhm. They are brushed, but if you have nothing else to say, I can't do nothing with all that. How you doing, Stacy? And welcome aboard. Pleased to see you. They not surprised, Arnell. How you doing? Not surprised. Milwaukee is the dream matchup you won in the first round because Giannis aside, they got nothing to worry about. I mean, if Kyle Kuzma is going to throw Easter eggs up, that's not going to be a long series. So I expect, take Doc Rivers and Damon them out there misery. Even if Damon is playing, I don't think they beat the Pacers. I just think they do something stupid. The truth of the matter is, with Giannis and what they got, that should be enough to match 6, 7 games to beat them. But coaching is going to come into play, lack of execution come into play, and the Pacers can win it. Now, do I think the Pacers are anything more than that? No, they're not better than Cleveland or Boston. So you're basically playing for third place. So you're playing for third place. And I don't like most of the matchups I'm seeing in the playoffs right now anyway. I think most of it looks kind of bad, if I'm honest. Um, Aside from the Golden State Houston game, that was the only game that was kind of close. Everything else was a blowout. I mean, average margin of victory. I mean, they had 4 games and the combined was like 100. I mean, 25-point blowdown for 4 games. That's pretty brutal. They Clippers and Denver is a great series. I'm just chilling right now, Stacey. Ann. Where you coming from? Oh yeah, he's a great pickup because to me, I was surprised that Golden State didn't try to get him. Um, and probably the Lakers didn't try to make a move for him because AD may still be there if they'd have had him. And as long as he understands that he's a second, third option, he's great. But if he acts like he's a first, oh, thank you. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you today. As long as he doesn't think that he's a first option, we'll be all right. The Pacers are dangerous by committee, but they're only they're either third, fourth best team. There is a gap. Cleveland and Boston are clearly the best 2 teams in the East. And as far as I'm concerned, there's only 3 teams who deserve to win the chip this year, and Cleveland, Boston, and OKC. Everybody else is playing for a distant third, fourth place. Unless, of course, the winner of the Denver Clippers series has got something else in store. I just don't see it. How you doing? How you doing? You know. And I think it's pretty self-explanatory this year. I don't see anything that strikes me like there's going to be nothing in the East. Nobody that is below, you know, like Detroit and New York could, if Detroit doesn't go to sleep, they could make that into a series. But I'm not impressed by nothing below. It's all the upper tier for me. Yeah, I just got through saying that Detroit got tired, got wore out in that fourth quarter. They don't have a finisher. Cave Cunningham is bad, but they don't have anybody else that can score. So if they go cold, because Dennis Schroeder ain't gonna get hot. If they go cold, they're done. As long as Tibbs doesn't wear out Brunson, they don't get worn out. They can win that series in 6. But that series has it could if Detroit can force the issue, but they can't have another fourth quarter like that again. They really can't. They're not good enough to blow games because they don't have the firepower. And you got to have that to beat the Knicks. You got to be able to shoot that three. So just saying, just saying. So I'm not anticipating, and most of these series look lackluster right now. It looks like warm up time. So I don't see anything that I'm just going, oh wow. No, I'm just seeing kind of through the motions so far. All right, please continue. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and views. Anybody coming in here for if we want to have a conversation, feel free. Let's talk. Because the more you talk, the more I'll stick around, and we all good. You know? Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you. Well, I welcome conversation, so people talk. I will if they ask questions, I will talk. Yeah, it could. It should, Arnell. It should. It should. Because that's a heavyweight fight right there. If Kawhi Leonard is healthy and James Harden and Zubox and they get anything out of Norman Powell, that should be. But if you're Denver, you want to send a message that you want to get them out of the way by 5 or 6. If you're the Clippers, of course you want it to go 7. And I think that realistically Denver should have enough to offset, but the Clippers got us. That's not your typical first round matchup. Thank you so much. There's only like that series and probably Golden State and Houston is interesting to me. But being honest with you, the first games I've seen so far, those games were pretty lackluster. I wasn't really most of those games was kind of boring and one-sided. They really didn't hold my interest, except for actually Denver and the Clippers and Golden State Houston to an extent. So we just talking about basketball. Let me see. Oh, yeah, what's happening? How you doing? Thanks for that dough. Thank you. If he wins his 5th ring, he's top 5. And then he becomes what I call a conversation starter. Appreciate that donation. Uh, he becomes a well, I'm streaming right now. I'm live right now. I am doing live right now. It is live. Um, you can't have the conversation without him if he wins this year, because then he'll have another set, another partner. That'd be crazy. Now, I'm gonna tell you, Arnell. No, Cleveland, Miami was a dud. Boston, Orlando is a dud. I'm gonna tell you something else. If the referees don't get involved, Minnesota Lakers could be a dud. I mean, I expect the Lakers to win a game or two, but it could be a dud. If Minnesota's at their best, which I think it's going to be hard for the Lakers to because that thing, that's fine. He may be coming home real soon. That's going to be a tough series. Minnesota is not the kind of team you want to deal with early on. They're more athletic than they're given credit for. Um, you noticing that, and you know what they're missing, Jay Will, is Anthony Davis. And you can say what you want to say about Darvin Ham, but he knew how to, manipulate the possessions. They got embarrassed the other night. Hanging with them and beating them is 2 different totalities. They can't beat no Boston. If Boston decides to go on a 20-0 run, how is Orlando gonna come back? They only got 2 guys that can halfway score. They're not a good team, you know. So I'm just saying. Well, thank you for coming through, Stacey, and I hope to see you again. And thank you for subscribing and welcome. And we're looking forward to have more conversation and when time permits. Thank you. Now the defense that they can't guard the perimeter, and Jarvis Hayes is too light in the cakes in the middle, so it was hanging on the rim. You better hope Rudy Gobert doesn't turn into like Artis Gilmore or turns into a baby Shaq or something, because then that's barbecue chicken, and you in trouble then, and you can't stop the perimeter. So if they don't slow the game down with fouls or flopping or something, they're in trouble. That's a tough matchup for the Lakers. Minnesota is a lot tougher than people want to give them credit for because they can shoot that thing. You'll see. You'll see. I think that's not a good series in hindsight, especially if they do, because they got 3 games in Minnesota. They're not losing 3 in Minnesota. It's gonna be tough for Lakers in this series. And it's something else in the postseason. So I heard about that. I wish he showed that kind of anger in the now. What all happened? 'Cause I wish he did more of that when he played in the game. He don't play like that when it comes money time. I stream at least 4 times a week, so I'll probably be doing it tomorrow and Thursday and Saturday. So probably about 4 times a week you'll see me stream. Timing is everything. Sometimes I'm on later, sometimes I'm on. It all depends. This a time. Yeah. But if you got me linked up and you stay in touch with me and you let me know you're on, and if you send me on Facebook Messenger, you can find me, then you can friend up and then I can send you a direct link when I'm gonna be on. Cause sometimes YouTube don't be acting right as far as sending out the notices. So sometimes I have to do it on YouTube in the bubble to my Facebook friends. So well, we cool. We cool. Appreciate you coming through. But anyway, I the Demar thing, I didn't get all the totalities. I didn't really want to waste my time with it. What you expect? What did you expect? Did you think Cooper Flex like, "I think I'll go back for my sophomore year"? Duh. He 2 reasons why he got to get out. His commodity ain't gonna be no hotter than it is now, and because he got exposed. And 2, um, the money's gonna be there now. He gotta get out. If he were smart and money wasn't a problem, I'd say stay 2 years. I think he'd be better another year in college. But I understand why he gonna make that jump. I only said it because of him, because I don't buy him all the way. He almost got to the finish line. Not much of a thought of it. I do too. But maybe I can. If you put that message out to the universe, maybe I can if you feel that way. Again, I don't know how I was gonna get drafted. I'm pushing for him because I don't think he's quite NBA ready. I seen a couple flaws in certain things, and I know if Krzyzewski was there, he'd cover him up pretty good. But I understand why he gotta go. I get it, and I ain't got no problem with him getting his bag. I just don't think he quite there yet. But I do think a cat can come out quicker now because of the way the NBA is. But do I think that and again, it depends on when y'all ask me about drafts and stuff, I gotta see who he goes to, who he's playing with. There's a lot of other parable things at work. It's not about can you play, it's about the system you're in and how good you are and where you at. Cause you know, and if he goes there and teams are, they're letting you score, but I don't know where you're gonna go. And I got a feeling it's got Charlotte written all over it or somewhere that is Saudi Arabia. So you know what? You never know. One of these days I might hit 1 million subscribers. You never know. It starts off with a dream and starts off slow. And next thing you know, people start coming words. So you never know. Injuries and also getting exposed. So if you get exposed for being slow or missing a routine or something, at least you got that bag you're in, and you're covered. Whereas if you stay a year too late, and that's the best we get out of you. Because sometimes cats play their peak basketball in college and then they missed out where they could have probably bought a 5, 6 year deal. You know, sorry to hear that, man. So it's a different ballgame when you get to the pros. But I always tell people all the time, it depends on who you get drafted, who's your coach. the system you're in. There's a lot of little factors that add a big picture. I ain't got no problem. I think they should be able to go straight from high school to the pros. That's why they got the G League. But what hurts it more than anything is that they're only learning one way to play ball. They shoot the long range and the athleticism. They're not learning how to be role players no more. They're not learning how to do screens and setting up teammates and being bench players. Everybody's trying to be that dude that's playing hero ball. And I got more of a problem with what the league is pushing. That's what the league is pushing. The league is pushing more threes, more energy, more, spacing. They're trying to make everybody as a handler. I don't know. I don't know. I just hope wherever he goes that he gets the right toolage, because if he goes somewhere where he can't be put in the best situation, it could be 2 or 3 years of a waste of his career. I don't really want to say that name on here because you never know who be watching, and I can't stand him. And he didn't flipped on Diddy and everything that he did, so I'm not the biggest fan of him. If you must know, you know, he been very messy to say the least. So I'll refrain from talking about that turkey for good reason, because he messy and how he did with Diddy, and he know better than what he did. He know he was all at the parties, all in them, and he just acting all funny time. Yeah, because you up there with Clarkson, you got like, I mean, they do got whatchamacallit there. What's his name? He's still pretty good. Yeah, he ain't gonna want to go no Philly. He'd only want to go to Phillies if they played with someone that was dominant, because he's the kind of player he would feed off a better low post. I don't know where he's gonna go. Now, I will tell you, everyone who asks me about these drafts, let's come back here when cats get drafted, and we can do a whole video about, okay, what do I think when they're said place and who's their coach. Flag will be all right, but it's gonna be interesting. Again, it takes time. It's a process. No, they won't, because they got Connect and they got Reeves. The only way they get him is they get rid of LeBron and a bunch of other parts, and he wouldn't fit there because you saw what they did with Dalton Connect, and Connect got a spring in his behind and he can shoot a bit. So why would you need two of the same? That wouldn't make no sense. Now, if you said the Clippers, I might agree. If you said Portland, interesting. But again, I'm not gonna put a lot of stock in him because I don't know what he can do on that level. Like Charles Barkley said it best. I can't compare a college cat to a pro cat when I ain't seen him in that vicinity, especially with how the game is and the injuries, and then of course the system and what you got to do. But if he goes in there, you know, um, a lot is lying on the line. You got rid of your coach. You want a close game. You're gonna need Russell Westbrook, Jamal Murray, because they got a dog fight. This is a dog fight. This is a heavyweight fight that they got with the Clippers. So Jokic can win him some goodwill if he can somehow figure out a way to get to the Western Conference Finals. Because the truth of the matter is, I should be on him. He's got a lot at stake. Oh, he does in the postseason. Murray's legit in the postseason. It's just that they gotta play good team ball. They gotta be on there. They gotta really finish up games. They were able to finish up something they didn't do. Had they won a couple of those chippy games in the regular season, Mike Malone would still be coaching now. They probably would have been third seed easily, maybe second. They lost about 4 or 5 chippy games because they couldn't finish. So this is the predicament they're in. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. If you really watch their games, so a lot of them games they did not finish up well. So this is going to be big for them with what they do. And I'm looking forward to seeing this series because this is a real heavyweight fight here. Probably my favorite series of them all, both conferences. Because especially if Kawhi Leonard is healthy and James Harden is, he playing on the court, knowing Paul George and Zubas and Tyronn Lue coach, this could be this is a real good series. So we'll see. Big series for him too. Mm. Okay. I hope you didn't pick the Bucks and the Lakers. I Cleveland, Boston. Okay. OKC. Those are obvious. Everybody else is a pick 'em because I think Golden State's gonna probably. I think I wanted Houston to win, but I think Houston ain't got no offense. Their defense is that Udoka got the good. They got to get a score. If they had someone who could just straight out just score with what they got, they go all the way to the finals right now because their defense is tight, but they just don't have enough offensive juice, especially when against a team that knows how to, you know, make them streaky. Well, I could have told you about the Bucks. They're not going to beat the Pacers. Giannis is bad, but they're not going to beat the Pacers. That thing goes 6, 7 games. Milwaukee's too exposed. And Indiana got too many weapons. That's not a good lookup for the Bucks first round. It's not a good matchup for them. They don't utilize Brook Lopez the right way. Uh, Bobby Portis Jr. They too streaky. Even if Damon was there, I think the Pacers can get that one. As far as the Lakers, if the refs ain't helping them out, and if they don't get anything from Jarvis Hayes or they don't get anything with the bench, they're in trouble because the Julius Randle is going to be dangerous. I don't know, but even if he does, they're not winning that series. They can't beat the Pacers. They too inconsistent. And Dame was not the right person for Milwaukee, and they finding it out the hard way. Because Drew Holiday was their right dude, but they didn't want that. They played better defense with Drew. They had a better. I would have upgraded from another scorer or bench player, but I wouldn't have got rid of no Drew Holiday. Maybe getting rid of Middleton to an extent, but now they're just compromised, and they don't know how to utilize Brook Lopez. They don't utilize the low post. The bench is suspect, and and Giannis has to do too much, and it just mediocrity. So that's what's happening. But you asked me by the series, most of these series are kind of lame juice. Because if I can see a team is going to beat somebody, that's not a real series. And most of these games were blowouts and kind of boring, if I'm honest. Aside from a couple, aside from Houston, Golden State, and Denver and the Clippers, every other mess was boring and blowout. And I think it's going to be tough for some of these teams to get, even if they get past the run and come back, they've gotten exposed. They're not that legit. If you're not a legit team, you're just taking up space. So I don't really get into it. But some good questions, though. Yeah, I came out and said the player what they want. Well, SGA should win it. He should have won it last year. And that 68 win team, what are we even having a discussion about? Y'all getting excited about stats. See, when people like somebody for stats, then all of a sudden everybody wants about stats, stats, stats. Well, I remember when Shaq didn't get that in the second time when Iverson got it. And so what's the crying with that? You know? So make up your mind. Is it about winning or is it about stats? Make up your mind. And SGA plays both sides of the ball. He's a better defender than Jokic. He scored 30 plus points, assist, rebound. I don't know what else you want from the man. The team is that good. Jokic has a actually better team. It's just that Michael Porter Jr. underachieves, Aaron Gordon underachieves, Jamal Murray is sometimey, you know. They got a decent bench in Jokic, so they should be able to be better than what they are. I told you just now, they lost about 4 or 5 games. Chippy games is the reason why they're in the seed they're in, as opposed to being higher. They lost chippy games. And if they had been able to finish with what they had, what you want me to do with that? That does not make you an MVP, though. What's the record? You're up here throwing stats, but what's the record? Who did better with their team this year? Whose coach didn't get fired? Whose teammates came and delivered? That's all it's about, you know. We could say Jokic is the best player. You could say Giannis is the best player, whoever. But ask me who was the MVP is SGA. He got the results. Thanks for everybody taking the poll. It's a 50-50 split. This is interesting. Wow. I like it how people like throw stats when it's convenient, but they don't want to take in consideration what SGA has done. I don't know why y'all don't like SGA. I don't know why people don't like him. What did he ever do to not get no love? I don't get it. You know, he's winning. Um, I think there's a narrative to kind of push him into a space that he ain't there because the guys around the league are probably saying, well, if he's that great, how come he ain't winning more? How come he ain't dominant when it counts? See, you can boast and brag about numbers, but are you going to another finals? He's got 1 finals and 1 ring so far, which is great. But when you're up here trying to say that you belong with Shaq, Wilt, Russell, and Chamberlain, and that you surpass Moses and Hakeem, no, not for the historical aspect, because he's not all showy. He's a team player. But I ain't got no argument with that. But it depends. It's two different. You see, people are trying to downplay SGA to up Jokic, who is a greater player. I'm not going to take that away. What Jokic is, what he's done. I'm not taking away from him. But you also got to win. And let me tell you something too. There comes a point in time you get tired of the accolades. You want to get the gold ball. Or you want to win the jury. So once you get tired of crying about what you didn't get in the regular season, you want to get in the postseason. That's how you make them pay. That's what Shaq did. Shaq's like, look, I can't get this, but we'll get to that gold ball. I can go win the chips. That's what's about. That's what he has to have in his mindset. He has to get out of because that is fine and we can debate that. But if you're not winning where it counts, that's where we have issues. I know I do. So, and when you want to be on a team that's winning, because awards are very subjective a lot of times anyway. They don't tell the totality. So that's how I feel about it. That's last year though. What's your point this year? Did they win this game? Did they win by 51 points just yesterday? Don't look like they're gonna fade right now. Now, granted, they playing John Morant, who he's auditioning. So whoever your team is, you might be in the John Morant sweepstakes because he's so gone out of Memphis. But you're bringing up ways to act to downplay him. And I see nothing but brightness. He's only gotten better with each year. He's only since he's been with OKC averaged like 30 points a game. He's only getting better. His teammates are only getting better. They're young. They got long-term deals. They're going to add another piece in the offseason. I can bet your bottom dollar on that. Then what? I don't know where the SGA negativity come from. I don't get it. Cause I could see if he was a buster, but I don't know. I just do the videos and I create, and I do think Jokic is putting up some incredible numbers. But again, for me, if you're a dominant big, you got to go to championships. You got to win. You got to compete. You can't be a oneer and then you stat padding and your team don't win and then you don't finish because then it just looks like it's almost like a fluke. Especially in an era when everything is set up for you to manipulate, because it sure is. This is one of the most watered down eras in basketball history. So you got no reason not to look like you're the second coming or something. He needs to. He needs to. He's had he's had the equivalent of three-man success. I mean, when you win like he's done in the long periods, you got to take care of yourself. Your health is your wealth. There's no need to come back. I know he wants to try to get on that Victor Wemby, and maybe he feels like if I could coach him, I might could do something. But that's a 2 to 3 year project, and De'Aaron Fox has to be up. You have to get the right pieces in place, and there's no guarantee that you're going to be. It's a lot to work with, so it's a lot to undertake. You know, so I would rather have him be healthy at home than to be stressed and struggling on the sidelines, and the team isn't that good. And I think Wimby's gonna take over it next year, next 2 years with what they got. But I understand. It's tough to see a guy who could be potentially something else like that, and you can't really because there's so many flaws and things that you could just want to point out. So, but yeah, Pops had a great run. He's one of the greatest coaches ever in my top four. So, please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I appreciate the ones taking the poll and keep hitting those numbers up, please. And we're gonna do some checking. All right. Top four right now. Well, you got to say Joe Mazzola, world champions. Steve Kerr. Uh, I say Udoka. And mm, well, this is tough because I'm not really because Atkins ain't really proven in Cleveland. He kind of by default. It's tough for me to do that. It really is because uh not JJ Redick. No. He's not better than Joe Mazzulla, who's the world champion. So show some respect to the Celtics head winning coach who has got a better track record. And Udoka too. So come on now. Atkins, I can kind of understand. Oh, you did have Mazzulla. Atkinson, Kerr, Udoka. Okay. JJ Redick ain't showed nothing. They just happened to land a good trade, and some places have come out. They're very uneven, flawed team. And if you really want to be technical, I'd say Ty Lue. Come on now, show Ty Lue some love. Tibbs in there. I don't use that kind of language on here, so you guys to go. Anyway, AD and Kyrie, well, the problem, of course, is that injuries, and of course, they got those Garfield. The Cats who put them Easter eggs up the other day, so they got a lot to work on. I knew it was going to be another year with that. It's going to be another year. Um, they got to make a move. They got to get another score. They got some. They're not pathetically bad, but they're bad enough where the scoring is really a problem for Dallas. I think defensively they're okay, but believe it or not, the funniest thing about the NBA that I'm noticing, especially in the postseason, a lot of teams can't score. And they don't, and it's not like they're playing some great defense, but they can't score. They really don't have fundamental offense. Dallas just was like, going through the motions. So I'll come back next year. If AD's healthy, Kyrie, get you a piece or two, make some moves. What about Houston? They need a guy that can go off for 25. They need cherry pick or score. I said that already though. I think Udoka got them on the right path, and I can see them winning some, but they need to get a cherry pick or score. They need someone who could just score buckets. Not really, because I'm gonna tell you something. When Jimmy Butler clamped on them, Draymond clamped on them, they live and die by being quick scorers. They're not a pace oriented team. When you know how to play postseason basketball, we get into a half court set, and we ain't let you hang on the rim, and we ain't just let you just shoot all wild and willy. And you have to play contest possessions and shot clocks, you get exposed. They just don't have an instant offensive player. That's the problem. That's why Udoka should get coach of the year honors, because they were second seed in the West, which is no fluke considering they were 500 last year. But they don't have an instant offensive player. And that's the reason why I can't bet on them going deeper. I like what I see with them. I still think they could give Golden State a problem. But if they don't beat them, it's because they don't have any offense. That's the sad reality. I don't really care who gets it, because there's a narrative to make him out to be some defensive stopping guru, which he ain't. If Jimmy Butler doesn't come along and they don't have that last 30 game spin, we're not having this discussion. Yeah, you can beat them on the boards, but Houston's got to put balls in the hole. And that's the problem. So that's the problem that I see with them. I like them a lot. They just don't have the right offer. I said this a long time ago. The Rockets problem, and if they had one of them cats from Cleveland that could score 15 or 20 and balance it out, then I say, uh-oh. But they don't have instant offense. So they're gonna have some problems. So that's all I'm saying about that. So yeah, hitting the boards but scoring points is two different things. And Golden State defense has come up. Golden State's biggest problem though is if you force them into a shootout, or you force them. You got to figure out. He looked like a mini. He like a super mini yesterday. I wouldn't put that name on him. He looked good out there, but again, they need instant offense. They got too much against them, and they got to play like near flawless to be Golden State. They don't have it like that. So that's a problem that I see with them. Um, yeah, Draymond. Yeah, well, yeah, he probably, they want him to get it. I don't even care about those awards no more because he's in Kerr's doghouse, and it must be something to do with practice. But Kerr has got that mindset that he will punish you if you don't fit his agenda. What you want me to say? They don't belong in the playoffs. This ain't gonna be a Jimmy Butler. Oh, we miraculous play in turn and we gonna go run to the finals. What you want me to say? I don't sugarcoat and I don't lie. If Ted was here, he'd tell you I'm very honest about my team. What you want me to say? Bam look good. Tyler Hero doing all right. He doing all right. Wiggins is all right. They don't have no firepower. They can't beat no Cleveland. But you want to sit here and lie and tell you, oh, we're not beating Cleveland. We're not beating them. They are what we were 3 years ago, 2, 3 years ago. We're not beating them. They're not beating them. No, I keep it 100 about my team. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it. We don't play no defense. Bam is balling inside out, but you don't play no the first of all, this is their parade to be in the playoffs. I did a video about what the teams that lost. That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing a whole one segment on every team. I'm just gonna combine all the teams that losing because it is a commonality. The Heat don't play defense. They don't really have an alpha to let really lead the team. They've been discombobulated, all messed up. Part of Jimmy Butler, part of Pat Riley, and they need to shake things up. Yeah, my video was just talking about all the teams that lost. I did it to earlier. It was the Heat, the Rockets, the Grizzlies, and Heat, Rockets, Grizzlies, and the Magic. My video is like one consistent of just teams taking an L. I'm not gonna do an individual video because it ain't worth it. I'm not wasting no 3 or 4 minutes talking about why Miami lost to Cleveland because they were in the game to an extent, but they don't have the firepower to stop that team. A lot of turnovers. Cleveland's got better guard play. Jared Allen ran down Bam on one of them, and that to me is the key. If Jared Allen can contain the boards, they're not going to lose. So we're happy to be there, but and look, I expect Cleveland to either get a gentleman's sweep or finish them off about 5, 6 tops. That's it. The Heat ain't there to beat them, no. Eric Spoelstra done done a great job considering they stunk this year and all of this dysfunction. But I'm not gonna sit there and tell you no lies. I'm not even gonna do that. I know what my team's strengths are and what they're not. They have not played good basketball in the second half of the season. They stunk. They were good up until maybe January. Yeah, I did that too. There was proof of it. And there's proof of his dominance in his play. If I was to use that logic, why don't I say that about Babe Ruth's games when he was calling home run shots? See, they don't want to acknowledge that that man was that great. He was that great. I have family members who verify him, and I'm not going to argue about that. Yeah, where's Joel Embiid been since? Where's he at right now? It's not, and you would be wrong because 100 is better than 81, and you're disrespecting another era, which I don't do. It's always important to remember what came before you. Because somebody's gonna come around and say something idiotic to you in 10, 15 years, and I'm gonna see how you feel about it. I don't disrespect because I know how talented cats were. Yeah, Detroit can beat them, but the problem is who's gonna score? Cave Cunningham aside, what else? See, have you noticed the pattern I've been talking about these teams that lost? Who is gonna step up and score? Think about it. Detroit does not have any. If they could have been average in the fourth quarter, they win that game. And they went and let New York do a 21-0 run on them. No, if you're great, you're great. And if you dominate, you dominate. Possessions, you still got to put the ball through the hole. The fact that they scored all that with no 3-point line, with no flopping, no acting, you had hand contact, logging up to be dominant is dominant. That's more impressive than what you're saying now. If a cat is shooting the ball 25, 30 times a night, he's got more possessions than whoever else. So what Wilt did was great for his time. You either respect it or you don't. And most people right now don't want to. I don't know why they got such a problem when I hear about old NBA. No one says nothing about old baseball, which was segregated, and we never got the brutality of that. If we're gonna use that logic about the NBA, we should do it for baseball too. Anything before 1947 shouldn't count. Okay, so let's keep it 100. Same thing with the NFL. Anything below the 50s when they don't have, see, because if you're gonna do that, let's keep it 100. Same thing with golf. Okay, tennis. And, I'm just saying, yeah, Detroit can win, but they got their work cut out for them. They can't have another fourth quarter meltdown like that, and they got to get balance with their scoring. That's the only problem I have with Detroit. Again, who's going to be the next option with Cave Cunningham? That's what's hurting a lot of these teams right now. They can't score. For all that scoring that goes on, now they can't score. So it won't matter if they beat the Knicks anyway, because they're not going to be more than a second round casualty, but it'll be nice for their one block parade. George Mikan doesn't get talked about because he was a white guy playing in the sport where he's not as romanticized as, say, Ted Williams was in baseball. I did a video about that coming up. I talked about that. That's why basketball was not seen as that kind of sport. You do know that baseball was considered America's pastime. Basketball didn't really even get that kind of luster and love, really. This is the only reason why David Stern looks like a genius is because when Russell was respected from the players, but it wasn't held in the same regard as baseball. So, really, in the last 45 years, if you must know, with the TV time, well, yeah, well, that's what I just got through saying. It worked against George Michael. That's my take right there. That's my take. And basketball wasn't seen as baseball. It wasn't seen as the same. So baseball had some kind of style and class and gloss. George Mikan won rings and stuff, but is he considered as big as Yogi Berra, who did win 10 rings with the Yankees? But is Yogi Berra considered one of the greatest players, top 10 ever by most? No. But Joe DiMaggio is bigger than George Mikan, and he, between Marilyn Monroe with her, winning World Series and the 56 game hitting streak, that's what he's known for, Mr. Coffee. But there's no, Jerry West was Mr. Bat, but it wasn't carrying the same weight. It doesn't carry the same weight. So that's what lies in the problem. Please continue to hit the like, hit the poll questions, and if you got something to say, come on through. Pretty good number so far today. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, it's just different. So, mm, okay, everybody got quiet again. Well, please keep on hitting the like, hit them likes up, hit this poll question up. Feel free to come through. I know everybody went because when it starts to go like this, that's when I gotta pretty much consider hitting the exit. Huh? Yeah, but that's not their. That's they got bigger fish to fry than that. I mean, he's good. They got a better job on the front line. I remember it like yesterday because I was a teenager when it happened, and I remember it very well. Scott Whitman played out his mind. He later was part of. I think he's with the Bulls when they beat the Blazers. He was one of those kind. That was when cats would have out of body games and score like crazy. Um, all they did was just temperament the series. That's all. That's all. That was a different NBA though. Whole different NBA. That happened today. Them teams might not come back after one game. So different era. But I remember that. The Bills got to get something on the front line though. They got to figure out how to stop the run. They got to, that's what they got to do and run the ball better, more. Cook was good, but they got to do it more. So I don't know. We'll see. When football season gets a gear, and I'll get more into it then. But yes, I remember that thing just like yesterday. I remember when the Lakers won that series. That's why I think John can come there. No, 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 absolutely not. If it wasn't for the fact that they had a good record, they might not even been as high seed as they were. They really stopped playing somewhere along in the season. They're not equipped to beat no OKC. Their defense is lacking. Their scoring is off. They look flat. No, no. And please don't put them in the same sentence as the Lakers of 85, because the Lakers 85 right now might beat Memphis. Mentally, they beat them. Ja is playing around and they're not getting anything out that team. And they're just getting cooked off the bench. They're getting cooked with the starters. They're missing Dylan Brooks. They have no enforcers and no one is afraid of them. And they just look like a gimmick team. So no, that's not going to happen. But no, that's not going to happen. Yeah, because he knows he's a goner there. That's why he's laughing because he know he gone. I saw that mess. I don't pay him no mind. His antics and childish ways is why no one can respect that team. He's very athletic. He's a freak of nature. I like his athleticism and all that, but he doesn't, there is no sense of urgency. See, 20 2022 was the last time Memphis was aware. And since then, they done fell off each passing year. Each passing year. Got beat by the Lakers in 23. I forgot what happened last year, but he didn't play. Just dumb stuff. You gonna be waiting. I mean, I felt like he's got it in him, but he's just again, he's either trying his antics when he tries to dunk too hard, he gets caught up. His teammates don't respond. They're lackluster on defense, and then they get into a situation where they just look like they're going through the motions. He should be able to. I'll say this about Arnell's statement. If they showed me something like they were legit, I'd say that's possible. But he's just too inconsistent and erratic, and I don't see it. Plus, I know they're gonna do something dumb anyway. So, and SGA is him right now. Quiet as it's kept. SGA done replaced him because Ja was that dude 3 years ago. So, okay. All right. All right. Please go hit that like, hit that thing up. Keep on coming. Keep on coming. Not in a traditional sense, but I did go to church. I'm kind of indifferent. I did get an invite to a church place, and I enjoyed it. But I don't really do a traditional of anything, you know. I think I saw that Trump dedication card mess, and I thought, oh, that was hokey. What about yourself? Yeah, I get that too. That part I'll give you. But the problem is he ain't because Iverson was not going for that mediocrity that John subscribes to. And Iverson did not have the cast around him that Ja's got. That team can win without Ja. Iverson's team, you couldn't even sell at the local car wash by themselves with the parts by themselves. It's a big difference. And he's polarizing for stupidity. Iverson did some dumb things, but Iverson, that chip on his shoulders because he overcame what he was did. There is nobody getting in Ja's way. Ain't no Shaquille O'Neal in Ja's way. Ja just defeats his own cause and purpose. He should be able to hang because he can hang athletically, but it's mentally that's where the issue is. The truth of the matter is as an offensive firepower, if he could play his game the right way, he could be as good as Iverson, but he just doesn't. Yeah, things done changed. Things done changed. See, Ja's got a big time explosive first foot. And he can pick and pop and move, but like I said before, he does too much time, you know, trying to be something that I can't even put into words, and that's why they're not any better than what they are. Pizza. I like pizza a lot. I like there are certain uh I can put uh vegan meat and make some great bolognese, some good pasta meals. There's a lot. Tacos, of course. There you go. A lot of tacos. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because you can do a lot if you create them. Well, thank you. He's frustrating. I don't, he's frustrating. I didn't say he was going to be better than AI, but he could be as good with his athleticism. But he just doesn't. He do need a Larry Brown coach, though. You want to be like Iverson? Get your coach that knows X's and O's. Now, I'm going to tell you something, because I only do this live. If Popovich was healthy and could cope, that's who should be coaching Ja. Or a guy like Eric Spoelstra. Gotta have an old school coach who knows how to get the best of him, especially at his position, with a discipline and a focus. Because he ain't disciplined right now. He contorts his body like Iverson and Derrick Rose. That's what he remind me of. And if you get it with some green onion with broccoli, and if you get it with some mushrooms, that's gangster. If you can sprinkle some chickpea on there, it's real gangster with some fresh tomato. That sound good. But that's what Jaws missing. These cats are a good disciplined coach and some structure from being something. Well, they can't let Chad Holmgren hang on the rim for starters. They're not respected in the interior. They're not going to beat OKC on the perimeter. So that's the problem they're going to run into. Memphis is just a flat team that looks like they're auditioning parts. Okay. Thanks for sharing, Jay Reed. You didn't tell me nothing. He had a good game, and it's a winnable series. He ain't the best player on the team. They said that last night with Charles Barkley. Did you not hear the inside edition? Inside NBA? They said he's the second best player, probably. And how's it feel with Steph Curry? And Curry gave him his due. He ain't better than no Curry. And he's got to play like that. And this is a series that he can shine in some of these series. As long as they play against teams that aren't low ball dominant, that can inside out, he'll look good. But when they play against the likes of, Denver and stuff, that's where the problem runs into. I'm not surprised that he's playing like that because he's going to be on his best behavior and he's going to play out his mind against, because this is his last run. And he messes this up, he's going to Toronto or somewhere. So he better not mess this up. Okay. I like how people come out the woodwork. He ain't tell me nothing because I know he's going to do good. He got no choice but to do good because he ain't messing this up. This is his last real paycheck, too. And his last chance to win a ring, too. 50% salmon. It doesn't look weak. Okay. All right. So we got looking for some comments on this. What we got real quick. Oh, he gonna do that a whole lot because he can't guard him. That's why. Well, Luca does all those antics all the time. Do you think cats like to hear him talking different languages and making fun of them? He does all. He can't take it. Well, learn how to play some defense, Luca. Because Ant hit that shot in your face. And I know Ant's got a revenge time because they lost him last year. Ain't no Kyrie Irving out there. That's why Minnesota got a good chance here. Ain't no Kyrie for the Lakers. You got to worry about Luca and Reeves on the perimeter and LeBron. They don't have that guy that's a problem with the guard play. That's why this is not a good series for the Lakers. I'm telling you, they need to get some speed all season. Got to go find you a guard, ball handler, and not just shooting threes. Because this could be a problematic series for them. This is how you get hurt too. Yeah, well, look up and talked enough trash already. Well, if you don't like it, you gotta do something about it. Stop getting lit up on the perimeter. Duh, duh. Inside presence, right? They Jarvis Hayes does what exactly? He gets a couple token buckets, but he's a liability. He is a third tier center. Some nights his stats about the same as Bronny James. He's a better player, but he just they really missed out not getting that kid from Charlotte. That's gonna come back to bite them in the butt. I'm telling you, that's gonna be their Achilles. Because Minnesota can go downtown in the box and pick and pop all night. Julius Randle. Do you remember? Okay, Laker fans, who did you play the first night? Minnesota. AD went for like 40 and 20 or some crazy number, right? Julius Randle was standing out there doing his 17, 18 a game. Think about it. Now, fast forward to now. If you playing our perimeter against your perimeter, they gonna bust your cakes. Minnesota got better perimeters. Might be the third or fourth best team in the East, but nothing else. They're not better than Cleveland or Boston. So they can beat Milwaukee, but I'm not sold on the Pacers. I'm not sold on them. Because Cleveland and Boston are head and shoulders better than them. But they might be the third or fourth best team in the East. But they're not championship worthy though. But they can beat Milwaukee. They can beat the Milwaukees. They could probably beat the Knicks. They could probably beat anybody lowercase than them. That's all. Nobody's seen him play. How would you know? Who are you talking about? You ask me a question, then you don't like the answer. That's very rich. Don't ask me a question if you don't like what I'm going to answer it. The Pacers aren't a threat to win the title. They're not a threat to come out the East. They didn't beat them in the postseason. He's been old. What you talking about? He been the third best player on his team. That's why they were so gung ho about trying to get a third option with AD. Did you not see that series against Denver 2 years ago? He cost them 3 games against Denver because he couldn't go through them. He's been old. He has flourishes, but he's not meant to be. I don't know what you're going about, and I'm not trying to play no chess match though. Beating them in a regular season game ain't the same as playing them, beating them 4 out of 7. Anybody tell you that? You're not beating Boston and Cleveland. Mm-mm. There's nothing that suggests to me that the Pacers are on that level. Yeah, you can win a regular season game or two, but when we get to money time, you ain't beating them. LeBron been old before your eyes. It's just that amazing at what? What's amazing? He's not the best player on his team. He's not even the second best player at this stage because Austin Reeves got to be the second best. He ball hogs. He flopped bad the other night looking for help. That was embarrassing. He had that nice rundown block, but he can't bring that thing home anymore. He doesn't have it. What's happening? How you doing? He doesn't have that thing that he had 5 or 10 years ago to lock it up. Because if he did, he could cover their shortcomings. He can't. What's there to talk about? He ain't winning no more rings. Not with that squad. Not legally, he's not. Because if the refs don't come in handy for him, he ain't winning no more rings. They don't have a championship team. And I go by what I see, not my feelings. I go by the facts. They're not a championship team. They gonna miss Anthony Davis too. They gonna miss him. Please hit that like. Poll question 50-50. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. He got swept 2 years ago by the Denver Nuggets. Got knocked out 4-1 last year by the Denver Nuggets. I think it's been time for him to retire. That ain't gonna happen. So don't give me no if, because there's not going to happen. I wouldn't rank him nowhere no more than what he is. Because I'm not impressed. They're not good enough to win a championship. So start with this hallucinative asking me questions where it doesn't look legit. Steph Curry got a better chance to win than LeBron does. Okay. And he's not going to win, but he got a better chance. What am I supposed to do with a team that can't play perimeter defense because they're not good enough to win? You've seen him when he had a team that went to the finals. There's nothing about this. Oh, because we get excited because you got Luca. Oh, wow. They're not that team. Of course, Jordan. Come on, I don't play that. I don't do that in here. This ain't ESPN, this ain't Fox Sports, so don't do that. I don't do that. I don't like that question at all. Because Michael Jordan stumps a mud hole through LeBron backwards and forwards. Different eras, different times, but it ain't close. It ain't close. LeBron is barely in my top 10. So stop asking me questions that you're not going to get what you want to hear. It's not close. Michael Jordan never embarrassed himself like LeBron James has the past few years. You're up here thinking like if he can win, how you gonna win when you don't have a championship team? No, he didn't. He was with the Wizards, but he retired. They weren't that good. LeBron is stat padding. How you gonna compare the two? In Jordan's case, he retired. LeBron's still trying to bring all his children in and maybe hope everybody play for the Lakers and average 1.1. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Bringing a podcaster to be your head coach because y'all want to show something and just going through motions and just doing things that are reckless and just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'll be on for 13 more minutes. I'm going in 13 more minutes. So let's get some questions and some takes. But I don't do the Jordan LeBron thing because it's not even fair. Two different eras. But if I'm going by the eyeball test, of course Jordan lights his behind up. It's not even up for discussion. Because unless, of course, you're about stats and stuff, there's nothing LeBron's got over Michael Jordan. If he did, he would retire 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, but that was one man. Did LeBron not win with Wade and Bosh? Did he not win with Kyrie and Love? Did he not win with Anthony Davis? When has he ever won without somebody that was considered a top tier sidekick? Scottie Pippen is not better than Dwayne Wade. Now, so what you want? He played with his team and he won with his team. He didn't have to go to 15 different teams to manipulate the narrative. That is the difference. You let Michael Jordan and some of these other guys do 15 different teams, they got rings too. That's debatable because Wade is considered amongst the greatest two guards ever on defense. So that's debatable. Scotty was versatile, but that's debatable. It's debatable. He wasn't a better leader than Dwayne Wade. Who came to South Beach looking to learn how to win? See, so when you make these stupid arguments about he who went to who to win, he went to Wade to learn how to win. He went to Pat Riley to get the jewelry. He begged Chris Bosh to come. Who set it up, orchestrated? Then orchestrated Kevin Love to come to Minnesota, where they trade Wiggins' rights. Remember? Because Dion Waiters was there with Kyrie. Remember? Oh, maybe I had to go ahead and get my history on here. Like I'm a history teacher. I get so tired of people like here trying to like set this agenda. Like LeBron didn't have all kinds of strings and curtains pulled and rides and the light man and the water man and all of he's had help left galore. A galore. Because you know why? You know why? Because when they played, you had guys that were defensive specialists like Tony Allen and Bruce Bowen. That's all they did. But you were a defensive guy. You weren't seen as an offensive guy per se. So that particular era, Cat may average like 5, 6 points. but he was on lockdown defense. They started giving it to more bigs with Dwight Howard, Gobert, and all that. But when you were a defensive specialist like Bruce Bowen, you also had a team that was a title contending team. You were doing those kind of works. Nobody cares no more about it though. Duncan should have gotten it though for sure, and Scotty probably should have too. But no one, you know, it meant different things back then. You don't put Rudy Gobert's name in the same conversation with those guys though. So there you go. That's why it's an overrated award. Because if you're not a championship quality, if you're playing defense, you're supposed to be championship quality player. That's how I look at it. But I'm just saying what I know. That's how they didn't change the game so much. They got a lot of these turkeys out here who, you know, got people fooled. Got them fooled. Okay. We got 8 more minutes, so let's get it. Do my hour and a half. All a day. Give me this cough drop too. Tastes good. Yeah, they hand them out now. Go Bears got all them. They'll get him in the Hall of Fame too. Watch. You better hope he don't play no ball in this series though against the Lakers, and he might actually. He ain't gonna get 100% healthy. He's 40 years old. He can have moments, but he can't have that kind of run. Body's not there no more. I can see it. When he was frailing the other day, shooting that horrible 3-pointer, looking at the ref and getting on his knees and begging, that was embarrassing. He should have gotten a technical for that miss. I can't believe y'all come on here and be trying to hype up a guy who knowingly acted pathetically the other day. Frail didn't get no contact. Was crying for a free throw. He's embarrassing himself. Embarrassing. The truth is, he didn't probably play about 2 years too long than he should have. He wants every kind of record he can get. Because he's scared people are going to forget about him and talk greasy about him when he ain't there. Which they will. They're going to talk real greasy about him. And rightfully so. But don't worry right now. You come on here on my live stream, Jay will tell you I cook LeBron for fun. And I mean it too. Because the longer he plays, the more overrated he becomes. And I don't hold him in high regard like I once did. He didn't play too long. And he ain't that good no more. And that team ain't that good. And getting these generic coaches ain't that good. Of course, I'm not going to root for them. He ran Darvin Ham out. So I hope they lose. I hope they do get beat by Minnesota. I'll crack up. Then Anthony Davis cold. You know. But they're going to miss his style of play. If this was about 5 or 10 years ago, he ain't going to do nothing. Except snarl his eyebrows up. Ain't nobody worried about him no more. If the referees want him in there, that's all he got. I hope he got. Adam Silver says, hey, call all these calls. But see, the NBA is in a peculiar standpoint because they need Anthony Edwards. They need Anthony Edwards more than they need LeBron James right now. They don't need LeBron that much, not compared to Ant. And you can't lie on the eyeball test. Can't. This is a bad matchup for the Lakers. I'll tell you. See, thanks for all the votes coming in. Got 50%. That's a tie. I never know account for taste, but oh well. We'll be back on tomorrow. They might, but they won't go far in the postseason. Even if they would come back in this series, they'll find a way to. They're going to lose. They're not a championship team. So let me just say this real so emphatically: if it's not a championship, you may as well go ahead and get beat now because you're not a championship team. You can't possibly get what you need to be a championship contending team. You don't play perimeter defense. You can't stop the low post, and your bench is anemic and weak. So therefore, you're not a championship team. If they had Anthony Davis, I think they have some better adjustments. But this is going to be tough because it's perimeter against perimeter. Minnesota knows how to make switches. And for Minnesota to win one game in LA, they got to feel pretty confident. And I think it's going to be hard to beat Minnesota 4 out of 5 games. I do. Because Ant is coming on with that. That's all I got to say about that. But anyway. Ain't going to be no adjustments, though. Not them kind of adjustments. The kind of adjustments they need is called revamp. They need a year to come back and try to get something next year. It's not going to happen like that this year. Wishful thinking, though. Because the NBA is younger, and again, you got to have the right chemistry in the right parts. Golden State got the right thing if Jimmy Butler stays healthy. They got enough for the right. But you got to play both sides of the ball. You can't just be an offensive juggernaut. Teams ain't going to roll over and let you just run up on them. So good luck with that. But I still think that it looks kind of weak so far. I have not been that impressed. What's your point? Ain't going to win nothing. Anyway, I'm tired of talking about LeBron James. I already said what I've said about him. So, but you're welcome to, I'm glad when people come through and appreciate it, but, people he is not in that situation. This ain't 5 or 10 years ago. And I can see that this is not going to end well. So, anyway, I'm going to give it a roll. Appreciate everyone came through. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke. Appreciate the donation, Jay Will, and everyone that came through. I will be back tomorrow. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke. I'm out. Peace.